4 tornadoes spotted by trained weather spotters there, including that suspected tornado in the Detroit Lakes area, just north of Detroit Lakes. 2 people injured, non-life-threatening injuries as last we heard, which is very good news to be treated in the hospital. Of course, a lot of trees down, homes damaged, power lines down, power out, and the video that we've seen around Floyd Lake, of boats and docks damaged. Joining us now is the president of the Floyd Shores Lake Association, David Pettit. Appreciate you joining us. Wow, look at that behind you. Whereabouts are you on the lake, David?
I am just down from Floyd Lake Point on County Road 131, probably a quarter-mile down, and my phone is pointed to the north, and then I'll go ahead and swing you around and give you a shot to the south. You can see the damage there, and as bad as this looks, the damage on the west side of the lake is even more substantial. But there's not a whole lot of a cleanup effort over there across the lake, just because the damage is so extensive. That evacuate that area last night due to some gas leaks in propane tanks. So people are just getting back on that side, and that's where the injuries were as well.
Okay. Where were you then last night when this storm rolled in, and describe what that experience was like?
We live on the north side of the lake, so about 1.5 miles north of the storm track. So the instant alerts went out on our phones, and there's a real green hue, and I'm not sure if it was the inflow to the storm or whatnot, but we had a really strong east wind and nothing more than rain at our house. But then when we went out and about after the storm, you could tell that there was a lot of emergency vehicles around. I assisted in opening a road up with some township workers as well, so some emergency responders could get in on the west side of the lake as well, because the road was blocked from the north over on Cozy Cove. So it didn't seem like much of a out of the ordinary storm, other than what it spawned here to the south. And as you can tell from the videos and what you can see around me, there's some pretty extensive damage there.
Very. So during that then, with a suspected tornado there, you didn't see or hear any indication of a tornado as it rolled through?
No, not from my house. But people that were down in the path, definitely they were going into their storm cellars, or I should say their crawl spaces, as much as possible. But from my location, we did not have any of this damage. So it was a pretty tight path.
Wow. So again, as we look around and we're looking at some of the video that you gave us too, so between this video and what you're showing us on your live picture now too, I mean, the extent of the damage, I mean, you see a lot of trees down, homes damaged, you see docks torn up, boats out of place. I mean, what all is, I mean, how much damage is there, and how much work is this going to be to try to clean this up?
Well, on the west side of the lake, so if I can just kind of point you over there. When you look over at the west side of the lake, there is probably a 1/3 to a 1/2 mile swath where 90 to 95% of the boats are upside down. There's debris, whether it be people's roofs or tangled docks 150 yards out into the lake. You go around there and you're boating at your own risk, which is why we're telling people to stay away, stay off the lake, because there's all sorts of underwater hazards. Like I said, we've got, you can see them probably right over my shoulder here. We've got the barges that are coming around to get all the tipped over pontoons and boats taken care of, so we can get those out of the lake, so we don't have a bigger pollution hazard than we already do.
Oh, wow.
So I would say from a water perspective, there's areas where it's near a total loss. And then house-wise, there's definitely stretches where homes are no longer livable and will probably be totaled.
Wow. Any guess as to numbers here? I mean, I know it's early and you haven't seen all of it, but I mean, how many boats, how many docks, how many homes? I mean, is there any way to put any kind of a quantity to any of that?
Well, as far as homes and boats, it's going to be in the hundreds. would be my guesstimation as far as what we have for damage, because there's a good half-mile stretch on both sides of the lake where between having canopies ripped off, having lifts hurt on their sides, there's definitely a huge amount of damage there. And then there's a tremendous amount of tree damage, trees on homes. You've got places that weren't in the storm path that still had enough wind where they've got a tree that fell in their house, poked a hole through the roof. So it's going to be a long cleanup process, and hopefully the weather holds off tonight so we're not blessed with more rain or storms.
How about power in that area?
Where I live north, we never lost power. DL Electrical Utilities have been out here since the storm last night. They're putting new poles in, more wire. I did hear, and this is hearsay, not first-person information, that they did have power back on part of the west side of the lake, but over here on the east side, they are still without juice.
So step one is, as you showed, the barges, getting some of those boats, the capsized boats out of there, the damage, to clear the hazards, to make sure there's no environmental hazards. And then, and then you move inward to the docks and the homes and the trees. It's a little overwhelming.
Yep, it's just trying to get people where they can get back at least into their homes, walk around, because a lot of these yards are just full of trees right now.
David Pettit with the, Floyd Lake Association. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for showing us what you're dealing with up there, and best of luck in the days ahead.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
All right, appreciate it.
Yep.
Wow, that is pretty stunning when you see the amount of damage there. I've seen a lot of these where it's, there's damage where you see the twisted docks and you see the capsized boats, the lifts and the canopies, but that looks like the extent of the damage there is more than I've seen in a while.